This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist CJ Cartledge.
And there's a little bit of an echo there. My apologies for everyone out there on the stream here. Good morning, everyone. I'm First Alert Meteorologist CJ Cartledge here to answer any of your questions that we may be, what you guys may be dealing with the severe weather later on today. This stream here is for mainly the KSLA First Alert Weather Day that's going into effect starting at noon today for strong and severe storms that are expected to impact the Arklatex through the late afternoon and into the evening hours. So, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the Facebook comments or in the YouTube comments, and I will be swift to answer any of the questions that you have. We may be staying on for around 10 to 15 minutes or so before we end off today's episode or today's stream here. So make sure to ask away whenever you have the questions to ask for today's severe weather threat and this weekend's severe weather threat as well. I'm going to start you guys off with a live look outside through our KSLA Tower camera sponsored by Mattress Plus. And we're going to go through the forecast first before we answer any questions that you may have as well. But we're looking at a very cloudy scene, and it's very warm out there around the Arklatex as of right now. I believe temperatures have already made it into the 70s so far. But let's take a live look outside across the Arklatex. This is outside looking out Shreveport. But this is looking outside around the Arklatex here. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies across the area right now. Maybe a couple isolated showers over there in East Texas here. But not much is really going on at the moment. And we saw actually a bunch of severe weather, a lot of severe weather, and a lot of tornadoes, strong tornadoes that touched down over in portions of Oklahoma and northeastern Texas there. And as you can see, storms are still starting to fire up north of Oklahoma City. But we are expecting our share of severe storms as we move into the late afternoon and early evening hours for today here. It's also pretty windy. It's going to be windy through the daytime hours for today. These are not wind gusts, by the way. These are sustained winds. So winds that are flowing naturally, not gusting, which is like little spurts. These are free-flowing winds coming out of the south here for the most part around the Arklatex. And it's ranging from around 3 miles per hour down near Florine. Not too much of a windy day for those areas down there, but it is pretty windy for everywhere else around the Arklatex, ranging up to around 20 mile per hour sustained winds by Mansfield, just shy of 20 miles per hour sustained winds by Mansfield. Around 14 mile per hour winds near Shreveport, Marshall, and Longview. Same thing for DeQueen up there. So it is a bit breezy as we move through the daytime hours today, and as it is right now too. We're in the 70s across the area right now, across the Arklatex. That is 76 by Bienville, 75 for Natchitoches, 72 for Florine, 72 also for Shreveport. We're already at 77 up by Texarkana, and around 72 for Idabel, and 73 by DeQueen here. So we already know that severe storms are on the way into the Arklatex as we move into the late afternoon and early evening hours. So let's take a quick look at Future Track. This is the first look at Future Track for this stream here. I'm probably going to be watching and going through Future Track multiple times throughout this stream. This is presenting us with the most accurate conditions as of right now. This model is so that's what we usually start with the best initialization forecast here. There's a couple of isolated showers over there in southeastern Texas, and not much really going on across the Arklatex right now other than the cloudy skies. But as we move towards the early afternoon, we could start to see a bit more of some storms pop up over in East Texas. Northeastern Texas, that is, north of I-20, and move into areas that are north of I-30 there, as you can see, where the highest risk for severe weather is for today and into tonight here. And as we move towards the late afternoon hours, mostly dry conditions are likely here around the Arklatex. This model also shows the most storm coverage for the severe risk that we have for today. But this will not be the end of it, as we should see a couple more storms begin to develop as we move towards the later evening and into the overnight hours for tonight. As you can see, they're moving to around just after midnight. We could see a bit more storms move into portions north of I-20, as you can see, moving towards around the midnight hour. But moving just after midnight, we could see a bit more storms begin to pop up around the midsections of the Arklatex. And then that line of storms will start to form as we move into the early morning hours of our Saturday. This promotes our Saturday severe risk, which is a bit higher for areas south of I-30, a bit lower for those north of I-30. But We are expecting the highest chance for severe weather and the highest chance for storms, for that matter, in areas north of I-30 for tonight and into early tomorrow morning. As we move into the daytime hours for Saturday here, actually, we're going to be going into Saturday in just a second, and we're going to be showing the severe risk first. Here's the severe risk for this afternoon and into tonight. It shows that there is a enhanced risk for severe weather in areas far north of I-30, as you can see, and that extends all the way into portions well north of the Arklatex there, all the way into portions of Kansas and Missouri. But also the yellow range is for areas around I-30, which denotes the slight risk for severe weather. So slightly higher chance for severe weathers in place for areas like Mount Pleasant and Texarkana, and for portions, I believe Idabel is right on the edge of that enhanced and slight risk for severe weather, which is the brown and the yellow zone that you see there on the screen. And there's also the green zone, which is the marginal risk for severe weather for this afternoon and into tonight here, which some areas in the green zone could see some storms out there, but it doesn't appear to be so likely. We may be looking at a very similar pattern or very similar weather pattern in terms of where the storms would be heading and the storm coverage as what we saw on Wednesday, with maybe a bit more storms. We only saw one strong storm that actually promoted a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado warning. One sole severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning here, but we are expecting a bit more storms for this afternoon and into tonight here in terms of the forecast. But zooming into the areas north and around the I-30, this is where the highest rain chances will be for today. And here's a look at the severe risks for tonight here. All modes of severe weather is on the table, and all of them are at an elevated risk. Not at just a low risk, but all of them are at an elevated risk for severe weather. Large hail, strong winds, flash flooding, and even tornadoes. Tornadoes appear to be the highest in that brown zone that you saw just before, in the graphic just before. So the highest risk for tornadoes is in areas far north of I-30 in that brown zone, which is the enhanced risk for severe weather. A slightly lower chance for in that yellow zone that you saw there, and little to no chance for areas in that green zone that you saw there in the last graphic. But there's also an excessive rainfall risk that shows a higher chance for flash flooding in areas around I-30 and northward, and in that green zone then is a level 1 out of 4 marginal risk for flash flooding in areas between I-20 and I-30 also. Let's take a quick look at what we can expect for our Saturday through the daytime hours on Saturday. Starting at 6 a.m., we should start to see that line of storms develop and slowly move through areas north of I-30, reaching around the I-30 corridor by the time we hit around 9 a.m. according to this model. And as we move through the rest of the morning hours, we should start to see those storms begin to make their way southward across the Arklatex, still promoting the chance for severe weather. But the chance for severe weather appears to be the highest by the late afternoon and into the early evening hours, just as what we will see for today. As you can see, some of those stronger storms entering from the south and west here, impacting areas around the I-20 corridor and southward. And as you can see, moving down to the southern portion of the Arklatex, that's where I believe the higher chance for severe weather will be. In terms of all of the Arklatex there. But as we move towards the overnight hours, reaching towards midnight, we should be mostly dry across the area, and little to no chance for severe weather is expected. But we could maybe see another batch of storms move into areas south of I-30 by the morning hours of our Sunday, and little to no chance for rain through the rest of the daytime hours for Sunday. Here's our severe risk for our Saturday. It shows that everywhere in the yellow zone, around I-30 and southward, looks to be under that slight risk for severe weather. Slightly lower chance for severe weather in areas far north of I-30, mainly due to them receiving the storms in the very early morning hours of our Saturday, mainly before sunrise. And just after sunrise, we should see those storms start to become a bit stronger and more severe, moving towards areas around I-30 and southward across the area here. Here's our severe risks for tomorrow, the individual severe risks for tomorrow. There's a low chance for tornadoes. All of the Arklatex has a low chance for tornadoes as of right now, but there's still an elevated chance for strong winds and flash flooding as well as large hail. The tornado risk is a bit lower as compared to what we will see for today, and especially for areas far north of I-30 there. So that is that. Low chance for tornadoes through tomorrow, but it's not out of the question just yet. So do not count it out just yet. Make sure to continue to stay weather aware through the rest of today and the rest of this weekend as well, at least the rest of Saturday. But here's our rainfall potential through the next 7 days ahead of us. We're expected to receive around 5 to 7 inches of rainfall through many days, or at least not many days, but throughout the duration of the next 7 days. And that mainly comes from this weekend system and also the system that will be, or the two systems that will be moving through not late next week, but by the early part of next week. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we all have rain chances on those days ahead of us, and that looks to be great, absolutely wonderful for the drought conditions there, which have pretty much expanded in areas north of I-30, as you can see there, into areas like Idabel and DeQueen, now under extreme drought conditions, which is shown in the red color. There's now extreme drought going on in Natchitoches and our northwestern Louisiana portions of the region, and most of us are dealing with severe drought as of right now, which has spread along areas along I-20 there and into areas of southwestern Arkansas as well. But the worst drought conditions are being dealt with in areas around I-30 and northward, so they desperately need this rainfall that is on the way. We also have a chance for severe weather as we move into next Wednesday here, which includes most of the Arklatex, and that looks to be the same way for next Tuesday as well. Slight risk for severe weather is in place for almost the entire Arklatex. I would say it would be for pretty much the entire Arklatex, and to make it extended to include the entire Arklatex as we get closer in time. But severe weather is possible for our next Wednesday, and the same thing for next Tuesday here. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast before I answer any questions that are out there in the chat. Or in the streams here. I don't see there's many right now, just a lot of thank yous, and thank you for tuning in as well. I appreciate your comments for sure. And here's a look at your 7-day forecast now that I've just pressed it. The KSLA First Alert Weather Day goes into effect at noon today. So during the noon show, we will start the KSLA First Alert Weather Day, and we'll be on air, obviously, starting at 4 p.m. and also during the noon show. We may even have another update during the afternoon just to keep you guys weather aware of what's going on for today. But as you can see, half of Friday is under a First Alert Weather Day, and that will continue over into our Saturday, where we're expecting strong to severe storms around the region, excuse me. But yes, we are expecting strong to severe storms to impact the Arklatex through this afternoon and into this evening and through the day Saturday. We have a slight chance for rain during the morning hours for Sunday, which is also daylight savings time. So the time will actually spring forward. You will lose an hour of sleep. But the good side is that the sunsets will get a bit later, and I believe the sunsets will get a bit later out there, so we'll be receiving a bit more sunshine out there around the Arklatex. So that's definitely a good thing that's on the way for us outside of the severe weather that is on the way for us as well. We have low rain chances for the rest of the day on Sunday, so nice, calm, dry, and comfortable, cooler. For that matter, cooler end to the weekend as we start off the new work week. Back up with the rain chances there as temperatures make their way back into the lower 80s heading into Monday and Tuesday, with another potential cool down where we may see even the 60s for highs as we move into our next Thursday coming up later on in the forecast period here. So that's all I have for you guys today in terms of the forecast. I'm gonna wait for anybody in the chat that may have any questions out there. I'm going to actually also read the latest that the National Weather Service chat has been talking about here. Okay, so they haven't made any changes to the severe risk. That's a latest chat that they had just sent the National Weather Service in Shreveport. They basically just put out a new update, I believe a new thunderstorm or severe weather discussion, just to talk about the severe storms. It's still a small part of the area under a enhanced risk of severe weather, slight risk for areas around I-30, and there is a marginal risk for areas around I-20 and just slightly northward there. Somebody in the chat has a question there. They're saying, sorry, I know you probably went over this, but is the severe chance more likely today or tomorrow for Shreveport Bossier? So is it severe chance more likely today or tomorrow for Shreveport? Just to answer your question right now, here and now, tomorrow we will have the higher chance for severe weather for Shreveport and Bossier. I'm going to give you guys a look at another the severe risks once more. This afternoon and tonight, Shreveport Bossier is only under a marginal risk for severe weather. So damaging winds, large hail, and flash flooding is all possible, but tornadoes look to be on the very low end of the scale. I don't see any tornadoes happening for many areas, if any areas, in that green zone, but it will be more likely happening in East Texas as compared to anywhere in Northwest Louisiana throughout this afternoon and into this evening here. The severe risk looks to be the most high for areas zoomed in to the northern portions of the Arctic. So I'm going to zoom out here just so you can see all of the towns and cities that may be under the higher risk for severe weather. I would say Magnolia, Texarkana, DeQueen, and Mount Pleasant. Most of these storms actually look to be showing or popping up on the far northern and far eastern portions of the Arctic there. So, no, not eastern, excuse me. Far northern and far western portions. I'm getting it mixed up in my head. Far northern and far western portions of the Arctic will be dealing with the higher chance for severe weather. I'm going to go through Future Track once more just so you guys can see it and not be confused by what I just said. Here's a look at Future Track. It shows that storms will be showing up mainly on our East Texas portions, the western side of the Arctic, by the late to mid-afternoon hours. And these storms could present some strong to severe capabilities here. They have some strong to severe capabilities, and they will continue to move off to the north and east towards the northern portion of the Arctic towards the later afternoon hours here before we get a bit of a break in these storms as we move towards the early evening hours. We may see a couple more storms moving to areas north of I-30. I can see some of those clusters of storms move into those areas north of I-30 there. If you guys can see them on the screen, just outside of McCurtain County and just north and west of Dallas, I can see some of those storms moving into areas north of I-30 there, into areas north of like Texarkana and stuff like that. But according to this model, it may not reach those areas until later on after midnight, as you can see there. And then the line of storms will start to form by the early morning hours just before sunrise and slowly make their way through the Arctic through the daytime hours on our Saturday. As you can see, pretty much a mess of strong to severe storms will be possible as we move throughout our Saturday. So just to answer your question there, storms a bit more likely for Shreveport-Bossier tomorrow and not so much for today. We need the rain. Somebody says in the chat, we need the rain, but I pray Webster don't get too bad. Okay. Yes, we definitely need the rain, but Webster is more than likely going to get this rainfall tomorrow as compared to today. May see an isolated shower or two. We still have slight rain chances, as you can see. We may see an isolated shower or two moving into the afternoon hours. I'm not saying that rain chances will be completely obsolete for areas in northwest Louisiana and into south of I-30 and southwestern Arkansas, but they may receive an isolated shower or two throughout the evening and afternoon hours for tonight. As we move into tomorrow, much higher rain chances are expected for the entire Arctic. We're definitely going to get that much needed rainfall here around the region. Not seeing many questions over there in the YouTube chat, but I'm seeing a lot of good questions over here in the Facebook chat. So I appreciate you all tuning into this stream right now. And I appreciate you all staying weather aware as well. If you know anybody that needs to stay weather aware, also make sure to point them in the direction of this stream. And this stream will still be on the KSLA News 12 page throughout the rest of today and for actually the next 30 days, actually. So before it even gets taken down. But if you need information on what's expected for tonight and into early tomorrow morning and into the daytime hours tomorrow, point them in the direction of this stream here. Even after I end the stream, it will still be on our Facebook page. Somebody says, thank you. Okay. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying weather aware with me throughout this stream here. But yes, we're going to be ending off this stream right here. Thank you all for tuning into today's episode of the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. I hope you all stay weather aware. The KSLA First Alert Weather Day, it starts at noon today during the noon show, and it will last throughout the night tonight and into tomorrow. It may end by the time the storms leave as we move into Saturday night and into early Sunday morning here. I hope you all stay weather aware. I hope you all stay safe, drive safely out there on those roadways, and I hope to see you on the shows later on today. I'll be on at KSLA News 12 at noon and 4 p.m. and meteorologist Jake Lambright will be on the green screen at KSLA News 12 at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. tonight. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the shows.